Hello guys, happy Tuesday Night Live. Should have looked at my hair before I started this. So happy Tuesday Night Live. It is Tuesday, December the 22nd. Yikes! I wasn't here last week due to commitments. Couldn't make it, I apologize. But I am here today. I don't know what the next week holds, so hopefully I'll be back, but I can talk more about that at the end. Susan, welcome. Okay, so today, although I spent all day making tags, instead of sending out my Christmas cards, one would think as a demonstrator that those would have been in the mail December 2nd. But no. In any case, I spent the day making tags, and I'm not even going to talk to you about anything that has to do with the holidays at this point because it's kind of too late. Pressure's on. If you haven't done it, you're in trouble now. Hello, Chris. Hello, Debbie. Good to see you, sort of see you. But anyway, what I'm going to talk about is some new product coming from the brand new catalog that should be arriving in your mailboxes any minute now. So let me know if you have received yours. I sent one to myself to make sure it would get when I would know when it got to the people that I sent it to, and I have not yet seen that one arrive. So I expect it's going to be in the next day or two. So keep your eyes peeled for your mailbox and make sure if there's something that comes from Stampin' Up! That it doesn't get lost in with all of your other catalogs, which are going to be useless after next week, unlike the Stampin' Up! Catalog that's about to be very useful. Susan is saying that she also hasn't sent her cards. Maybe we could just agree that maybe this isn't the year for it. I don't know. I apologize. If you're on my Christmas card list, I apologize. But Debbie, you know for sure. It's the way I roll. Okay, hello, Jody. Hello. So I'm going to flip you down and show you what I can show you, which is not a lot. Whoops. I don't know what just happened. I hope you've been able to hear me the whole time. But it looked like you weren't able to hear me for a minute. In any case, yeah. So here's the catalog. I cannot open it. It's killing me, right? Because you can see all the things I've liked and all the things that I have already ordered. So I can show you some products and some samples. I just can't show you the inside of the catalog. So I'm actually using a sample that is from the catalog, but I can't show it to you. So why don't I just move on? How does that sound? Okay, so what I'm focusing on, there's a suite at the very beginning of the catalog that contains this adorable stamp set called Country Bouquet, which is Valentine-y and yet not screaming Valentine-y, which is what I love about it. And what I also love about it, it comes with a punch. You gotta love something that comes with a punch. Now you're probably wondering what the heck this is all about. And I will show you what the heck that is all about. It also comes with some, coordinates with some designer series paper. There's actually two things of designer series paper that come with this. I'm only going to show you one tonight. This is the 6x6 paper that is called Country Gingham. You know, I love me my gingham. I've been talking about gingham for the past, 6 months, maybe 6 years. I'm not sure. I do love gingham. And this goes beautifully with this paper as well as with the other coordinating 12x12 paper, which I'm not gonna pull out tonight, but there's another designer series paper that you're gonna love as well. So this is the colors of this paper is Balmy Blue, Mint Macaron, Petal Pink, and Sweet Sorbet. I almost called it Strawberry Sorbet. Sweet Sorbet. So those are the four colors that come in here, and there's a variety of different patterns. So tonight, what I'm going to make is actually not... Oh, yeah, something else I'm going to use. I'm sorry. There is also a double pack of ribbon that comes with this in real red and burlap ribbon. So these come together kind of on the same page. If you get the whole thing, they all come together, but you are welcome to order them separately when that is available, which will be on January 5th. couple weeks. Okay, so for my project today, I'm going to put aside this because I'm dying to open it and show you, and I can't. So I'm just going to put that aside and pull out what I'm making here. So what I'm making is actually a candy bar wrapper. I'm going to show you the finished product here. And this, I wish I could say that I came up with this idea on my own. I did not. This is almost exactly what you will find inside the catalog when you're able to open your catalog. I did alter it a little bit to fit my needs, and I'm going to alter it a little bit more this second time I make it, which is with you tonight. Okay, so I'm just using a regular size Hershey's candy bar. You could adapt this for any size candy bar, but the measurements that I'm giving you tonight work for a standard size candy bar here. So I'm using our Kraft 6x6 paper, which is in the annual catalog. And the nice thing about this paper is it's actually pretty darn flexible. For Kraft paper, when I first saw it, I thought it was going to be pretty stiff, but it's not. It's very flexible. It feels pretty much like most grocery store paper bags at this point. Pretty flexible. It starts at 6x6, but I'm going to cut it down to 5.5 by 5.5. I found that for my needs, that seemed to work best. There is a resource guide that Stampin' Up! Provides for all of the samples within the catalog, and the resource guide for this said 5.5 by 6. But when I made it, I thought this worked better, so I'm altering it to 5.5 by 5.5. And then I'm going to score it at 1/4 inch. So I'm going to go over to this side here. Hello, Barbara Lash! I feel like it's old-timey night. Not old-timey, not like you people are old. I'm trying to zoom for everybody, and woo, there we go. Okay. It's just people I feel like I haven't seen in a while. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to go to 1/4 inch, and I'm going to score it. So I'm using I'm moving my cutting blade. I maybe did that too much. This is the cutting blade, the dark one, and the light one is the scoring blade. If you don't want to cut, move that dark one way out of the way if you know what's good for you. Okay, so I'm going to score at 1/4 inch, and then I'm going to, actually, I should have done it this way. Okay, I'm going to score at 1/4 inch, and then at 2 7/8. I know, 7/8. I hate 7/8, but gotta do what you gotta do. So 2 7/8. All right, so it's probably impossible to see my score lines, but that's where they are. All right, now I'm gonna bring in my bone folder. Hello, bone folder. Okay, I'm gonna bring in my bone folder and just score it, really reinforce that score. Hello, Leslie. Okay, so now I've got what looks like this. And this is going to be able to wrap around the candy bar. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm using my green glue because I love green glue. And I know it's going to hold really well. You could use tear tape. This is only 1/4 inch that we have to deal with here. So you've got to use something thin, but tear tape could work. I'm not choosing to use it, but you could use that. Now, your candy bar does not need to be inside at this point. I'm just doing it because it's making it a little bit easier for me to move this. Maybe that was a mistake. Probably was a mistake. Take your candy bar out. And there we go. So I'm just squishing that down. Now I got a little green glue on my hands. If you've ever had this glue on your hands, it doesn't come off easily, but I will tell you that rubbing alcohol absolutely takes it off. Someone also told me recently that hand sanitizer takes it off as well. Okay, so now on the inside, can you see that I've glued it? It's glued nice and tight down there. All right, now for the next part, I have chosen this time to use some blue gingham for this part of it. And this I'm going to cut, this paper comes at 6x6. I'm going to cut it down to 4x6. Now, if you were making this with a patterned paper, well, you'll see in the end, but if you were making it with the pattern paper, you definitely would want to keep that in mind as you start to put this together. So this is my final project, and I'm just going to wrap it around here. I'm kind of marking it where I want it and then bending it where I want it. Okay, so I know that this is going to have depth to it, so I need to leave that a little bit loose, if you will, but I'm not going to score this. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. I do want to make sure it's straight. Okay, so because I am who I am, I'm going to put my tape on the inside here, or my green glue on the inside here, just so that I don't have a seam on the back, because that's just how I'm feeling it. So I'm using the green glue. Again, you could use, another good thing to use on this would be the Stamp Seal Plus or tear and tape. Because it's a 3D item, you definitely want to use a strong adhesive. Okay, so I'm just giving that a second to do its thing. So we're going to set that aside, let it dry while we do our stamping. Okay, I told you I would tell you why this punch looks so funny. The reason it looks so funny is because it's really, really useful. And now let me show you. I am going to actually stamp my, I'm using Blushing Bride. Blushing Bride is not a color that coordinates with the, well, it's not one of the listed colors for coordinating with the paper, but I want my, this is what I want, so that's what I'm doing. Across the room, I'm going to grab, it's a photopolymer stamp, and I should have had this ready, but I didn't. Whenever you're dealing with photopolymer, you're better to use a some kind of squish factor underneath. So for my squish factor, I'm using my paper piercing mat. The reason for that is that there's no squish on a photopolymer stamp. It's just the stamp. Red rubber stamps come with a little bit of foam, but photopolymer does not. Now I'm going to stamp this right here, and you'll see it is a distinctive stamp, which means it's going to come out like this. So the whole thing is not colored in. It's not a flat image. It's supposed to have that kind of certain spots will be darker than other spots, and that's the look that you're going for. So it's got this heart up here and this heart at the bottom. These come attached. I would not unattach them if I were you. I've just begun to play with it, but I would not unattach them because it's going to be really handy when you go to punch. So like most Stampin' Up! Stamps, it's better to stamp from, or to punch from the back so that you can see where you're punching. I didn't do this low enough, so I just have to trim a little bit of my paper off here because I can't get my punch in far enough where I need it. So there we go. Much, much better. Okay, so I'm gonna just line that up and give it a punch. Okay, so I've got these extra pieces that I do not need. I'm gonna get them out of the way. But right now I have my heart in my heart. Ooh, didn't do a fantastic job. Punching, I don't know what the heck I was thinking. Okay, let me move this further down. This time I have it closer to the bottom, so it'll be easier for me to punch. I think I slipped or something when I went to punch. Okay, there we go. Way better. Okay, so let's get rid of these wonky ones, and we'll keep the good ones. Okay. Let me put that over there for now. I am going to use some words on the inside. I am using Sweet Sorbet. And I'm going to use, there are a number of greetings that come with this. And I'm using For You, but there is With Love, I Love You. Just wanted to say it's obviously too long for what I'm doing with this, but For You works nicely. So I'm going to put that right on the inside of my heart and Sweet Sorbet, like so. All right, let's close these babies up and do the next part. Okay, so the next stamp that is one stamp is this combination. So this is one combination and this is the other combination. So these come together, and I'm going to do this in Mint Macaron. It's funny because this is not a color I gravitate towards, and yet it's it goes really well with this. So I like it. Okay, and you can see the same thing where there's lighter and darker spots on this, and that is the intention. So now I'm going to bring in the punch again. You may be asking, could you do this all at once? Possibly, if you knew where you were lining things up. You could actually, and I will shoot a video later in the month. By later in the month, I mean later in the month of January, to show you how you could stamp this and punch once, but that's not what I'm doing tonight, because it's several days before Christmas, and I don't have time for that. Okay, so now I've got my leaves, I've got my For You, and my extra little pieces, right? All right, so let me move that aside, and show you what I have to do for a stem. So I'm going to make a stem, but this is going to shock you because it involves fussy cutting. So what I'm using is my Stampin' Right marker, and Stampin' Right markers have a wider tip and a thinner tip. The thinner tip is great for detail or writing a message, and the wider tip is really a brush tip, kind of creative for coloring things in. But what I'm going to do is just use the side of it. Actually, let's do this. I like it a little bit thinner. So I'm just creating a stem. And I know you're thinking, what? So I tried previously today to actually just cut out some mint macaron paper, but it looks better if there's a little bit of white around it, because there's a little bit of white around everything. With this card, and I'll show you that in just a second. So let me get rid of this, but it's very easy to actually create the to use your marker to draw the stem. It actually is, that part is remarkably easy, and this, I'm no fussy cutter, but this is not tough. Okay. So let me get rid of that. Okay, so then I have my mint macaron stem. Okay, so back to the actual project at hand. I am going to, it's gonna go like this. Okay, so I'm gonna cut this down a little bit. That looks pretty good to me. So I'm gonna use some green glue, because I can do a very, very thin bead of that. Put that right down here. And then I'm going to use some dimensionals on the back of my heart-shaped flower. Well, I'm using it as a flower. I guess it's just a heart shape. Okay, so I'm going to put that there, and then I'll bring in my my leaves from Mint Macaron, and they actually, the regular size dimensional is a little bit large on them. You have to be a little bit too careful, and so I'm choosing to use my baby dimensionals on this. And let's see, let's tuck that one up there, and this one down here. And then because you end up with extras, I think I'm going to just throw some extras at the bottom. Yeah, I'm just going to throw a little extra one on there. Why not? Ooh, this is a tight fit with this dimensional. That is a tight fit. I'm just going to stick it right over there. There. Okay, I'm happy. All right. Let me see. Let me pull in my candy bar and show you how this mechanism works. So this is how the candy bar... Here, let me unzoom you here if I can. Maybe I can't. My phone tonight is... Well, let's just say it's kind of the way this day has been going. Okay, whatever. We're not going to play that game with you, phone. I'm going to just show you sideways. This is how the mechanism works. So to do this, you're going to take your ribbon. I'm using my wider ribbon. And I want it to go completely around the candy bar. So let me show you what I mean. So I'm going to wrap it about that far around the candy bar. And yikes! Let me grab my scissors. Okay, in the olden days, Stampin' Up! Sold ribbon scissors. And to this day, I can't really cut my ribbon with the paper scissors because of it. They trained me well, and now I can't go backwards. Okay, and then I'm going to put dimensional backs everywhere. Okay, then I'm going to cut some more ribbon here. I'm going to use a glue dot to make my life easier because it is Christmas week, and frankly, I need my life easier. Okay, so what I'm going to do, let me show you. I'm going to take my pokey tool and just grab a glue dot. I'm going to put it right down on my ribbon and then stick that together. So that's just being held with a glue dot, and that is only so that I can tie my bow here. If you were stamping with a friend, you wouldn't need to do that, but I don't have any friends today, so well, not in my stamp room anyway. Okay. Let me tie this in a knot. Now, I learned this once. I don't know if it's true or not, but I have believed it. So if I want my bow to go side to side, when you get to the first point of your bow, which is your over-under part, if you pull top to bottom, I have been told that that actually makes the next part go side to side. And I believe it, so it seems to work for me. There we go, side to side. Okay. So let me pull that down like so. Give a little trim like that. Pull in my wrapper, which is just an open tube, really. And I didn't glue this down. I guess I should have, in retrospect. Probably should have glued this down here. So, let me show you how I'm going to do that. I'm going to just put a little green glue on either side. I'm going to slide this in. I'm going to make it very flat so that hopefully the glue doesn't, my intent was that the glue wasn't going to smear, and it didn't, so that was great. And then I'll just give it a little squish. Okay, so the green glue will do its thing. Here's the candy bar. Let me slide that, whoops. I said the green glue would do its thing. The green glue does take a little while, and I was rushing it. My fault. Okay, here we go. Now we can stick this in like so and pull it back up. There we go. So we have our candy bar wrapper. So here is my original one. Very, very similar to what you'll find when you are able to open up your Stampin' Up! Catalog, and then an alteration, a very close alteration, right there. So that's that. I am in love with the stamp set. It's called Country Bouquet, and it is coming out in the new catalog, which you will be able to see for real on January the 5th. If you're a customer of mine, you should be receiving your catalog in the mail any day now. It does come with the Celebration catalog as well. So you definitely want to keep your eye out for that and make sure that it does not end up in your recycling of old catalogs that you don't need this time of year, because you are definitely going to be needing this one. Okay, so let me flip you down and chat for 1 second. Okay, so I am starting something new in January where I'm going to be doing some in-person and online classes. And I'm definitely going to be featuring the Country Bouquet suite. Actually, I don't remember what the suite's called. I don't want to look in the catalog because I don't want to be tempted to show you what else is in there. But this is just one sample of something that you can do with this, and stay tuned because there will be more information coming on how you can get a hold of the classes that I will be doing starting in January. I completely forgot to say that my name is Betty Sakosha, I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. So I apologize, but my name is Betty Sakosha, I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and the team leader for the Power of Positive Inking. If you have not received your catalog and you are my customer, please be in, or give it a couple days, but then be in touch with me if you haven't, and I'll make sure that you get one. If you have a different demonstrator, please be in touch with your demonstrator, and they absolutely will help you because you're going to want to get your hands on that. It's also the beginning of Celebration, which is happening in January and February this year, and there are some really cute things that you're going to want to be able to get your hands on just for shopping. Okay, so that's it. I hope that you, in whatever way that you might be celebrating in the next couple of weeks, I hope that it's a happy one for you and that you're making some memories with the people that matter to you most. And hopefully I will be on next week, but I'm going to put a big asterisk next to that because I don't know. I mean, I hope. I got a lot to show you coming up in the new catalog, but I just don't know. So hopefully I will be here. But I hope that you have a happy holiday in whatever way that you celebrate. Please be in touch if you have questions on anything, and I'd be happy to answer them for you. Thanks very much, guys. I appreciate you tuning in, and bye.